Hey guys, Max again. So I know in the last video I sent a while ago, sorry it's so late. But I talked about self-talk and then I kind of lightly tapped in on I guess how specifically you can use the skill and then kind of some skills on top of it when your self-talk starts to go down a little bit of a different path or like the negative path that you don't necessarily want it to go down and it's being more destructive rather than constructive. Okay, so this is just gonna be a quick little video, hopefully to give you guys some skills on how to use your self-talk a little bit more effectively, but then also how to reframe and reshape your self-talk so it's actually beneficial to you. Okay, so again, like I said last time, there's the positive and negative self-talk. We're gonna focus more on the positive aspects of it because traditionally that's what's more beneficial to athletes and to overall population. And then within that construct of positive self-talk, there's the instructional and motivational self-talk, which look at the fine-tuned motor skills for instructional, and then the gross motor skills for motivational. Okay, so the overall goal of self-talk is to increase motivation, initiate action, sustain effort, provide instruction, work on your skill acquisition, and then also to help you break bad habits. Okay, so a lot of different ways that we can use it, and then it's just kind of from those areas, you kind of have to tailor it to your use. So just like any other skill, everyone's going to have their own way of doing it and using it, and it's going to be beneficial to some in certain ways and certain ways to others. And some of you might not want to be as aware of it, but you know, it's always good to just be a little bit more cognizant of how we're talking to ourselves because it can have an impact on our overall well-being. Okay, so when you guys are doing your self-talk, regardless of if it's instructional or motivational, you want to make sure that the words or sentences that you're using are short and specific. Okay, so often people call this cue words, so that's either one or two sentences around there that kind of reframe and focus your mind onto the specific skill. So when you guys are doing for like an instructional self-talk example, if you guys are doing a thrust and your focus is a little bit more on more focused on going fast, something you can do when you're in your prep or visualizing your prep is right before you're about to thrust, you can have a keyword that's going to make you focus on rolling as fast as you can. So that could be zoom, speed. It could literally be anything that you want. It could have nothing to do with speed, but it could make you focus on going fast. Like it could be carrots and that could make you go faster. Like I don't know, it's going to be totally specific to you and tailored to what you need. But you guys are going to have to think about certain words that are going to kind of make you want to go faster in your rule. And that's just one example. It could be any skill that you guys are talking about. So like even when you guys are doing your workouts now. So like let's say you're doing tuck jumps, your word could be tuck, to pull your knees closer into your chest so you get a bit of a higher jump. And that's just a specific focused skill that's going to make your technique of your tuck jump just that much better. You know, maybe not right then and there or today, but maybe tomorrow if you keep working on it, okay? So the smaller and the more specific the cue words are, the easier it is for your body to translate them into action, okay? So if it's a 5 paragraph sentence, like that's going to be a little bit tough for you to like talk to yourself about, but then also it's going to be hard for you to focus on the skill that you're doing and then the workout, like your whole environment, okay? So short and sweet is kind of the way to go for this. But you also want to make sure that if you are doing a little bit more of a sentence, so like 4 or 5 words, and you're referencing yourself, you do talk in first person and present tense, okay? So if you are living in the moment and your self-talk is working for you right now, you say, I am doing this tuck jump with my knees up to my chest, or like, I'm gonna do this workout great. That was a motivational self-talk one, the last one. But you guys want to make sure that you're talking about yourself, like you're narrating your life story as it's happening in the best way that you can, like in the most positive light, the most confident, motivational, instructional, if that's what you're doing, frame of mind and tense that you're talking to yourself, okay? And then obviously the focus is positive phrases, so just make sure that you guys are speaking kindly to yourselves and keeping your focus on a positive, like lighthearted manner. Just like in any situation, I get that we are most critical of ourselves, but you want to make sure that you are speaking kindly to yourself. Pretend as if you're talking to a friend, like you would speak nicely to them, so speak nicely to yourself when you're doing that. Even if you're struggling, you got to keep pushing and have be your own personal cheerleader in that moment, okay? And then also when you guys are talking, make sure that you believe it. And like that might be a little bit tough and that might seem like a little bit of a silly thing to say, but if you speak with purpose and meaning to yourself, your brain is going to believe you. Okay? So if you believe you can do it, that's all you need in that moment, right? So you guys just want to make sure that you focus on the short keywords, have purpose and meaning to them, and make sure that you keep them positive and focused on the task at hand. Okay? So that's just a small overview of like the skills or the keyword skills and like the self-talk skills that you guys can use either in the pool or during your workouts now. But as we all know too well, sometimes our thoughts get the better of us and take us down a path that we necessarily don't want to be going down. So you guys, I also have some skills and some techniques to kind of help us get us back on track when our minds take us down that rabbit hole of negativity sometimes, okay? So there's two techniques that are primarily used. These are not the only techniques, so I'm just going to explain two today. And if these don't end up working for you or you feel like they don't mesh well with just who you are, we can discuss some other skills that you guys could use. But these are just some suggestions of some techniques that you guys can use when you feel like your brain is getting the best of you and taking you down the wrong path, okay? So it's called thought stopping and reframing. They're kind of similar and you can kind of use them interchangeably, but they are different. So just make sure you guys understand the difference. And if you don't, then feel free to shoot me a message. Okay. So with thought stopping, this is while your brain is kind of going down with that negative self-talk or like the disbelief in yourself, the lack of confidence, any of those things, like your brain, the devil in your brain is kind of talking over the angel a little bit too much. Okay. So first step is to acknowledge this, like be aware, be like, okay, like my brain is taking over and this is not how I want it to go. Like I want to refocus my mind. So acknowledging it, great. You are being self-aware, you're being cognizant of how you're feeling and how your emotions are taking over a little bit. And then you want to use a keyword to clear your mind, to stop that thought. It could be stop, it could be like any word you want to help your brain refocus and reset, okay? So the focus of that word is to kind of just clear your mind, like blank slate, like erase all the thoughts, get rid of them, and then bring in another keyword to put you back on the track of positivity and back on the motivation, the instruction, like get you reset and focus on what you're doing, okay? So it's kind of like 4 steps. So acknowledge, keyword to cancel that thought, clear mind to reset, and then keyword to get you back on track. Okay? So it pretty much is self-explanatory from the name itself, thought stopping. So you're stopping the thought in its tracks, you're moving it to the side, you're resetting, and then you keep going with the thoughts that you want. Okay? It's hard, it's not easy, it's tough, and sometimes, that negative thought might take over and it takes practice. But I swear to you guys, if you keep at it and you keep that self-awareness of when your brain starts to go a little bit off the focus, then it will start to translate into better performances and hopefully better self-talk for you and an overall better sense of well-being because your thoughts will hopefully be more positive rather than negative, okay? And then the second one is called reframing. So this one is, like, I would say you could probably do this a little bit more as like a self-reflection just because I think it'd be a little bit too difficult to do while you're exercising or while you're doing a specific skill, whereas thought stopping you could do in the moment a little bit more. But the reframing is either you're focusing on a specific skill or you're just kind of reevaluating your whole practice, your whole training session, and you can kind of like either write them down. I suggest writing them down, it's just better memory for you, but if you'd rather just keep them in your mind, that's to each their own. But it's being aware and writing them down, all the negative thoughts or the negative paths that your mind goes down, okay? So if you say like, oh, I suck at burpees or whatever, like that's just an example of what you guys are doing now, but it could also be tailored to like when you guys are in your pool, like, oh, my extension is not very good in my fishtail joints to vertical, okay? So those are 2 negative thoughts. You want to write them down or be aware of them, and then for each negative thought you have, so maybe more than 2, maybe less, it just depends on you, you want to attribute that with a positive phrase as well, okay? So, oh, I suck at burpees. Yeah, but I still did the full set of a minute of burpees, or I still did the 50 burpees. I still was able to finish them. Okay? So, and then for the extension one, you could say, yeah, my extension's not great, but I have pretty good ankle extension, and when I roll my legs in or roll my legs out, my legs look a lot straighter and my sculling is more solid. Okay? So the focus of the reframing is to be aware and have your negative thoughts, but then also be like, hey, okay, so this is there, but I'm also so good in this parts of that exercise as well. And the focus is to like overcome the negative with the positive, so that when you guys go back to that skill and you go like, oh yeah, burpees, no, like, yeah, I can do these. They're hard, but I got it. Or like when you do your joint, be like, okay, yeah, like maybe my extension, but I know how to make it look good. Okay? So the focus of that one is, like I said, a little bit more, I would say, like after the fact, like reflection, which might take a little bit more time. But if you guys are focused and you want to improve on certain skills in or out of the water, taking this 3 to 5 minutes max is gonna help you improve in those areas that you struggle with. Okay, like it does take time and it does take effort, but we have some time now to do this stuff, and I think all of us want to improve. So you guys, you might as well try it out and see what works for you. And like I said, these skills might not be the be all end all for you, and we might have to find something different, but there may be a good starting point so you guys can get a better understanding of your self-talk and become more aware of it and get a good practice in, so that when you guys come back into the pool, we can learn newer skills and create a deeper and stronger foundation that we've already set on in this summer. Okay? So, as always, if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. And I hope you guys have fun practicing your self-talk. Okay? Bye.